I was thinking about concluding something in this episode, but maybe there was nothing to conclude. This was just me sharing my reflections right now, as they are, in seeing that AI is in some extent terrifying, but maybe part of the terror is also forcing us to look at something we haven't really had time to look at because we've been busy following values that aren't actually rooted at the heart of ourselves, following someone else's scripture. There is this phrase that says, it's a revolutionary act to be in contact with yourself, with your own needs. You cannot be controlled if you're rooted in yourself. Actually, I added the last part myself, but I don't even know who said it to begin with, so yes. This is possibly one of the most interesting times to be alive. Like the emergence of artificial intelligence is almost forcing us to take a deep look at what it means to be human. Like, I am spellbound by the progress of AI. Partly because it terrifies me, the impact it might have on society. And it also enchants me of the potential it could have on society. In one way, it's a risk that it will exterminate all of mankind. But it's also the possibility that it will liberate us. What do I believe? Well, I guess it depends on my mood altogether. And I guess it doesn't really matter what I think. It's gonna go one way or another. I guess what's interesting is to look at the world from different perspective. What would happen if this happened? What kind of choices can we make now that will increase the odds of it going one way or another? And I think maybe one of the things it will absolutely do, if it happens this year, if it happens in 10 years, it will force us to look at ourselves, to evaluate what it actually means to be human. I have a hunch that AI will replace a substantial amount of work within the coming years. Like, if you work in front of a computer, I personally don't think it's very far off that AI can do your work, including my work. I'm in this as well. And do you have a different opinion? Yes, that's welcome too. I don't know, I don't have the answer. But what it does is that it does invite us into looking at, who am I if I can no longer contribute to any kind of economic prosperity? Anything I can contribute with in the economic field, an AI can do better. What is my purpose here? What is driving me when it's no longer about feeding myself? It's no longer about paying for a roof over my head and gain security for my family. What's actually left? What's the essence of being human? And I don't think we have to wait for AIs, like the tsunami of AI, to ask that question, but I think it will force humans on all level to look at that question. I mean, we can do it now. Who would you be if you had no economic value to contribute with? I know many of us have already been forced to look at those questions, either through being let off from work, being unemployed, being on sick leave for a substantial period of time. And I've also heard that retirement kind of makes people have to sit with that question. I haven't reached that stage yet. Yeah, but I've heard many wise thoughts coming from that transition in life, going into retirement. And when that is forced on mankind, or like all humans, pretty much simultaneous, it's almost like we're being forced either to perish in despair, I guess, or to awaken, to let go of this identity of being a provider, a work character. None of our value can be found in being productive. And if the goal is no longer to be productive, then efficiency and speed all of a sudden doesn't have that much priority. It's not on top of the list in a society. Imagine rush hour in a big city. Where would people rush to? What is all of a sudden the value that we would put on top? I mean, I can only answer for myself. I think what people will find is love. Channel creativity, not for the sake of productivity, but for the sake of channel creativity. That's it. The process of being creative is the jewel, not the outcome. How it transforms me as a person, channeling that force. What would a society be built on if love and creativity were all of a sudden top priorities? When I transported myself, unless there was an emergency fueled by love, I would have no rush. No one else on the subway would be in a rush. There would be time to see each other, to love each other. And what would that look like? How would we interact in a society that had no productivity goals? Maybe we no longer needed to dress our public spaces in commercial, those kind of artworks that serve a commercial purpose, that drives the finances forward. Can we even imagine such a place? I mean, I can dream about it, but actually going there, seeing what a world would look like, I don't know. I grew up in a society where adults had to work. Efficiency was very important. And even though love and kindness, personal boundaries, creativity had a spot, it was still very limited. It did not trump. It wasn't put on top. If efficiency and getting to work and producing was a competitor of that. This was like a side quest, something put on the side. But if AI rips that away, if we are no longer of human labor, human intellect is no longer a driving force of economy, consumption is no longer needed because no one earns any money unless you perhaps own the AI companies or whatever future we envision. Maybe we wouldn't need to be told what we need. Commercials wouldn't be a thing. The financial wheels as we know them would collapse if AI replaced most of the jobs. And personally, I think that future is coming. And it's not far off. How long? I don't know. It seems like no one knows. But I think it's rather within a decade rather than in a different lifetime. And it's easy to go into despair in that, but there's also this invitation. Who am I if I don't contribute with financial value? Oh, the irony. Technology is coming to mirror humanness back to itself. Enabling us to look in the mirror properly. At the end of the day, at the end of a life, what really matters? And if we take away the need to put food on the table, am I spending my time according to those values? What kind of status would even be left in a society where love and creativity, not the output of creativity, but the act of creativity, was at the center? Would there even be a hierarchy to talk about? Because if you love someone, you cannot really have a hierarchy on the level of human value. So much falls away if the need to go to work falls away. Yeah. Artificial intelligence. What's your relationship with this modern day initiative, incentive, intruder, friend? Okay, anyway, lovely to share this moment with you, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, my friend.